Hi, I'm Joe Sanborn. I'm with Behringer. I'm here today with WorldMusicSupply.com, and I'm going to be talking about the Xenyx 1204FX mixing board. The Xenyx series of mixing boards from Behringer are really compact and yet loaded with features, lots of inputs. This mixing board features 4 mic inputs. You also have quarter-inch inputs, which accept quarter-inch or TRS balance signals for balanced or unbalanced inputs. You have a low-cut switch. You have a gain knob. In the EQ section, you have 3 fixed bands. You have 12 kilohertz on the top. You have 2.5 kilohertz in the mids and 80 hertz on the lows. You also have an aux section, 2 aux sends. The top aux send is selectable either pre or post fader. The effects send is the second aux send, which sends the signal to the built-in effects generator in the unit, which is over here in the master section of the board. The next setting is your pan, so you have your left and right control right here. And then you have your mute, and this switch also doubles as a sign switch, so when it's muted, it's assigning to your left and right alt mix, which has a separate set of outputs on the back. You have a mute indicator if it's muted. You have a clip indicator, solo, and you can solo to solo the signal to your meters to set your gain properly. You also have your fader on the bottom. So these are your 4 inputs for your primarily for your mics. The board then goes down and has 2 stereo channels. So you have channels 5, 6, and 7, 8 down here, which each have stereo inputs on the top. These channels feature the same EQ section, 2 aux sends, your balance, and your mute or your sign switch. Down in the master section, starting up here, you basically have your effects generator on the top, and it's really convenient because there's a right on the top of the board. It kind of gives you a reminder of where your presets are going to come up within your effects generator. This encoder basically allows you to select what effect you want to select, and it's a push encoder, so you could select the preset using that. The aux send levels right here basically allow you to set the amount for all of the auxes going out to your monitor, say, or to your reverb externally. And you can also solo those aux sends, so you could set your level properly on your meters when it's soloed, hear it in your headphones, and set your aux send masters. This section over here is the aux returns. So if you're going to say an external reverb, the reverb would come back in over on your aux returns. You can also on this board set the amount that's then sending to your wedge. So it's basically like an aux return that also has the ability to be sent out as well. This is the aux 2, and you can determine whether or not that aux 2, which is usually set up for your stereo effects processor, you can assign it to go to either the main mix or to that alt 3/4 mix right here. Continuing down in the master section, you have your source selection right here, which allows you to select what is going out to your monitors. So if you're using this in a studio environment, you have a set of studio monitors, you have a level control going out to that, and you can select, are you listening to the main mix, are you listening to the alt 3/4, or are you listening to your CD tape return coming back in. So you have some routing capability right there. You also have on this board your CD tape section, where you can have a CD player or a 2-track machine coming back in, and then you could use the other set as a record output from the board. Your headphone jack, it also has an effects foot switch. Looking at the back of the board, you have your standard IEC cable, power jack right there. You have your power on off for the board. This is your phantom power. So if you're using condenser mics on those first 4 channels, that selects the phantom power on and off. There's also a phantom power indicator, the plus 48 volts on the front, which just is telling you that your switch is on in the back and you're delivering power to those microphones. Over in this section is your main outputs. This is your main mix coming out of the board. and feeding these standard XLR outputs on the back. The Alt 3.4 section here has its own set of outputs, and then you have your control room outputs to go to your studio monitor with your level control here. So that's the Xenyx 1204FX, and you can find this and many other Behringer products at worldmusicsupply.com.